So I read Book of a Thousand Days by Shannon Hale for this. It's a young adult novel. It's a fairy tale retelling. Shannon Hale does a lot of those books where she takes a fairy tale and just kind of like builds the whole world around it. This one's not much different. It's based on the fairy tale Maid Elynnor, which is not a very well-known one. Basically, there is a lady who doesn't want to marry the guy who her father wants her to marry, and because it's like this patriarchy and he's noble, he just locks her in a tower for 7 years, and yeah, it's great.
7 years.
7 years. And so yeah, she's there, and then she breaks out of it after less than that because I think food's running out. And her entire family is dead, and she goes somewhere else where she had this love interest from before who was not the guy who her father wanted her to marry, and one thing leads to another, magic happens, and she eventually becomes married to him. It's quite complicated. In this version, it's told from the perspective of somebody who wasn't in the original fairy tale. It's a servant called Dashti, who is her servant and the only one who's willing to stick with her in the tower for 7 years. No one else goes in with her. Marina is reimagined as someone called Saren, who is like this very, very meek kind of character. She doesn't stand up for herself at all, and so it's a surprise to kind of everyone that she's just completely flatly unwilling to marry this guy who her father wants her to marry. And as events come to pass, you find out why the guy that her father wants her to marry is very powerful, very rich, but also not the greatest individual, and she's aware of this. And so, yeah, Dashti is the one telling the story. She is writing it as a journal, so Book of a Thousand Days, it covers about 1,000 days that they're together. They do break out of the tower before the 7 years, and her kingdom has been laid waste to, coincidentally, by the guy that she was supposed to marry. So they go to the kingdom of the guy that she wanted to marry way back when, but it's been a couple years, and so he is now engaged to somebody else. And yeah, and Saren over this time has become very over-dependent on Dashti because she's the only person who stayed with her, and she's like just codependent, so it's not very healthy, and so she forbids Dashti to tell anyone who she is, because she's just so afraid now and suspicious of everyone who's not Dashti, and she thinks that the guy that she used to be in love with is going to kill her, basically, because she doesn't trust anyone anymore. And yeah, and so they get a job in the kitchens. The lady and the servant, they're working together in the kitchens. And one thing leads to another again, and Dashti ends up working as a scribe for the guy, and she falls in love with him, which is highly inconvenient. Events happen, which I probably shouldn't talk about.
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. I am considerate here. And yeah, that's about it. It ends happily.
Is the servant allowed to leave, or does the servant stay there?
She loves Sarah, and she took like an oath of loyalty to her, and within like 5 seconds of meeting her, so she doesn't leave.
Can she, like, let's say they need something, could she leave, or is she also stuck?
Yeah, she could. Oh no, they got out of the tower already.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, they're just in the kitchens now, working a dead-end job in the lower class. Yeah, and so Dashti nearly gets killed a couple times, and that's that. So I liked it a lot because of the way that it's told, first person as like a journal sort of thing, so you see everything the way that Dashti is seeing it. From her perspective, you see how her background as a member of this tribal society, how that's affected her, and how like any sort of civilization is really unfamiliar, so being alone in a tower is not really new, so she's able to handle it.
I worked out this morning at 5 a.m. 5 a.m. Very good.
Yeah, so I liked it a lot. I would definitely recommend it.
So I read the book called Wake by Lisa McMahon, and it's basically about a girl named Janie she's 17-year-old at the time of the book, and she figures out at the age of 8 years old that she has the power to jump into other people's dreams, but it's unwillingly, so it's not like she gets to choose. So she kind of grows up with this power, and she never really likes it, but at some point she gets kind of used to it, even though she doesn't enjoy it, because some people, like, some of the dreams, like, they're nightmares, some are good, some are bad, and as they get older, the dreams get more complex, and at the time of this book she's 17, so people are dealing with stress and like relationship struggles in high school and everything, college, and so she kind of deals with it. She just doesn't really want to sit through it all the time. But then later on, she jumps into this one kid in her school's dreams named Cable, and these are like, he has like really morbid dreams. They're always nightmares. His mind works really weirdly, and she just does not enjoy his dreams. Like, she just hates being in them. They always scare her, or they're always creepy, or something happens in them. Like, in one dream, she's drowning, and he's sitting at the end with a rope and won't throw it to her. And on his end, he doesn't know it's her, but on her end, she can see it's him. So he kind of just, it looks like to him that it's a random person, and she can't tell anybody about these dreams because they could possibly think she's crazy, because it's not really a common thing to be able to jump into other people's dreams. And so she just gets extremely uncomfortable and just really creeped out at the fact that, like, these are the kinds of dreams that he has, and she kind of befriends him a little bit and talks to him, and later on tells him that she can see, like, his dreams, and tries to talk to him about it because they're not okay. So she just basically they start being friends, and they start talking, and she kind of goes through it with him to see, like, what they can do, or like maybe what if he's going through anything. So yeah, I liked this book. I read it way back in 6th grade, but I never actually finished it. So I'm kind of like happy that I actually read the book again, and then I got to go through it. It's not a slow-paced book, so it kind of picks up quickly, and it's interesting to see how other people's dreams work, and not just like just from the main character's point of view. But she does tell it in, like, the book's kind of written in like a story, like a journal kind of way. So it'll be written as a book, but then when they go into the other people's dreams, it starts being written as a journal, kind of. So, yeah.
So, is she, like, from the person's perspective in their dream, or is she just kind of there watching it all happen?
So she's actually in it.
Mm-hmm.
So she's a part of that dream.
Mm-hmm.
So it is from her perspective, but she's just a part of it, but no one knows, like...
So she's just like a random shadowy figure in a dream?
No, she actually, not even a shadowy figure, like she's, like when she was drowning, like she was actually in it and she was participating in it, and he could see her.
Oh.
But he just didn't
No one
know
knows
it
it's
was
her.
her. Like, he thought it, like, in his mind, he thought it was a random person.
Alright, and why is he dreaming all these terrible things? Is he okay?
He turns out, like, he's not that okay. Like, I guess just, like, things going on in his life. So it's not that he's, like, a bad person. It's just, like, how, like, his mind works.
Okay.
I guess. Yeah.
Alright.
So my book was it's called All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven, and it's basically about two teenagers that go to school, and they're both kind of suicidal because what's his name? Theodore. He has been bullied all his life. His family is separated. They don't really care for each other, and his dad divorced his mom, and like he lives somewhere else, and he still tortures Theodore. Like, he beats him. He's emotionally abused by him. So that's Theodore's life. And Violet, she's like the popular girl, and she has everything, or like people think she does, but a year before senior year, she got into a car accident with her sister, and her sister died, but Violet survived, so that kind of haunts her, and that kind of puts her in a state of depression and anxiety, and she's, like, both of them, they're not really looking forward to college anymore, and, like, they have a class together, history, and their project is to visit a lot of places in their state, like remarkable places, and they live in Indiana, so there's not really much to see, but they make the best of it by going to all these places, and they have to leave a part of them in each place, and like I think that's really cool. And it's actually, like, the plot is kind of cliche, but the way it's written is really nice. Like, you feel like you can relate to them, and whenever they're talking about themselves, you feel like you're going through it. But and it's also written in what's it called? Like, it's one chapter is Violet and one chapter is Theodore, and it goes back and forth. So those, like, are my favorite type of books, and because you can see their perspective. And what else? Theodore he helps Violet cope with her thoughts, and like Violet, she hasn't driven a car in almost a year because of the accident, and he kind of just helps her through that, and like no one really pictures them together, and they're not really together, but they help each other. But Theodore is, since he's been like that all his life, there's no really like fixing him. He's kind of deep in that state now, and Violet tries to help him too, but his head is just like really intense and very, I don't know what's the word for it, but it's a sad ending, but it's worth the read. It's bittersweet, and I would definitely recommend it. What's it called? So yeah, that's the story.
So do they kind of fill in each other's like missing? Like,
Kind of, yeah. Like, yeah, kind of. Except that Theodore, it helps him, but it
Not
can't. Yeah,
completely,
he just can't, you know.
Oh,
But
okay.
Violet, what?
Does he die? I can't ask that. Never mind.
Yeah, you have to read it to know.
Okay.
But it's a good story. Just the way it's written, it's really like you have this magical feeling, and it's like you're in their world instead of like the people around you. They kind of just, everything's mute, and it's just them, and it's really nice.
All right. Should I click?
Yeah.
Okay.